In 1919, the British airship R-33 stood as a testament to the ingenuity of its era, preparing for its maiden flight at an aerodrome in North Yorkshire, England. During the coronation celebrations of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953, a child was photographed sitting alone and eating in Chelsea, England. The enigmatic Moai statues of Easter Island captivated the attention of explorers and scientists in 1922, as men gazed upon these colossal stone figures with awe. In 1945, Soviet students presented a carved American seal to a U.S. ambassador as a gesture of goodwill. Delighted by the symbolic gift, the ambassador displayed it in his office, unaware of the secret it harbored. 1914, painters suspended on the cables of the Brooklyn Bridge worked precariously to maintain one of New York's most iconic landmarks. In the 1960s, a young Arnold Schwarzenegger was carving his path to greatness, dominating the world of bodybuilding with prestigious titles like Mr. Universe. Captured in 1944, George Blind's fearless smile as he faced a German firing squad embodies the resilience of the French resistance during World War II. In 1885, the face of the Statue of Liberty awaited its final assembly in New York, representing the culmination of a historic gift from France. As colossal works of art symbolize unity, groundbreaking engineering feats have redefined human achievement. In 1889, Alexander Gustave Eiffel stood atop his towering creation, the Eiffel Tower, alongside a companion, marveling at the structure that had defied its critics. In 1862, London's Edgware Road Station witnessed a groundbreaking moment, the world's first metro journey. Operated by the Metropolitan Railway, this inaugural line connected Paddington to Farringdon, addressing the city's escalating traffic congestion with an innovative urban transit system. At the 1936 Berlin Olympics, Jesse Owens crossed the finish line of the 200-meter race in a historic moment, setting a world record of 20.7 seconds. In 1885, deep within the jungles of Honduras, explorers uncovered an ancient Mayan statue, a striking reminder of the advanced civilization that once flourished in Mesoamerica. From ancient artifacts to modern marvels, even everyday spaces have their own unique tales to tell. At Disneyland, a special canteen provided park employees, known as cast members, a place to unwind during their breaks. In 1958, actress Audrey Hepburn was photographed shopping in Beverly Hills, accompanied by her pet deer, IP. Hepburn had adopted IP while filming Green Mansions, and the pair developed an extraordinary bond. Once a symbol of commercial hunting efficiency, the punt gun was a colossal shotgun capable of killing over 50 birds in a single shot. Mounted on small boats called punts, it was a favored tool for maximizing waterfowl harvests. In 1967, Catherine Switzer defied the odds and the organizers of the Boston Marathon, becoming the first woman to officially complete the race. While Switzer's story celebrates progress and determination, the bonds of family and the endurance of separation also tell powerful tales. In 1956, a German soldier returned home after 10 years in Soviet captivity. In 1942, women in Port Washington, New York, were photographed painting propaganda posters to support the war effort. These posters played a vital role in rallying public morale, encouraging food and resource rationing, and promoting the purchase of war bonds. While these women inspired action from afar, others faced direct combat, proving their resilience and courage in the face of occupation. In 1941, 16-year-old Albina Malihoar joined the Slovenian liberation movement, risking everything to resist Nazi occupation. On August 9, 1918, a homing pigeon was photographed being released from a clock on the side of a British tank. In an era where radio communication was unreliable and often disrupted, pigeons provided a crucial link between the front lines and command centers. In the 1940s, workers painstakingly sculpted the colossal faces of 4 U.S. presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, on Mount Rushmore. Towering 18 meters high, these iconic portraits were carved into the Black Hills of South Dakota under the direction of Gutzon Borglum. In 1917, over 100 people gathered around a massive sequoia tree in California, creating a stunning image that highlighted the extraordinary scale of these ancient natural wonders. From nature's grandeur to societal norms, the struggle between tradition and progress has often been a source of both humor and change. In 1934, women in Miami Beach playfully defied a sign mandating full bathing suits, poking fun at the strict dress codes of the time. In 1940, during the devastating Blitz in London, a young girl was photographed sitting with her doll amidst the ruins of her bombed-out home. In 1959, a disabled American World War II veteran was photographed with his son, gazing at the Golden Gate Bridge in California. Completed in 1937, the bridge stood as a marvel of American engineering and a symbol of perseverance. A farmer is seen painting white stripes on his cow, a practical measure to enhance the visibility of livestock at night and prevent road accidents. This strategy was especially crucial during blackout conditions, where road lighting was minimal or entirely absent, demonstrating rural ingenuity in adapting to the challenges of the era. A couple poses proudly with their BMW Isetta, a microcar that became an icon of post-World War II innovation. With its distinctive front door design and exceptional fuel efficiency, the Isetta symbolized a shift toward affordable, practical mobility. In 1896, 3 runners are captured competing in the marathon during the inaugural Modern Olympic Games in Athens, Greece. This iconic race, spanning approximately 25 miles, became one of the most grueling and inspiring events of the Games. Excavations near Cairo revealed striking details of the Great Sphinx of Giza, a monumental structure combining a pharaoh's head with a lion's body. These restoration efforts provided invaluable insights into the history and architectural prowess of ancient Egypt. In 1922, archaeologist Howard Carter and his team made a groundbreaking discovery in the Valley of the Kings, the intact tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. The unbroken seal, untouched for 3,245 years, preserved an extraordinary collection of treasures, shedding light on ancient Egyptian burial rituals and the opulence of royal life. A family of immigrants in the United States, having just passed the stringent admission process, looks toward the New York City skyline while awaiting a government ferry. In 1950, Coca-Cola made its way to France, marking a pivotal moment in the brand's global expansion. Beyond introducing a fizzy beverage, the event signified the post-war spread of American culture. In England, 1938, a woman is seen testing a gas-resistant stroller designed to shield children from chemical attacks. These precautions were a direct response to the lingering fears of gas warfare from World War I, as tensions mounted on the brink of World War II. A German immigrant couple poses with their 8 children at Ellis Island in 1904, representing the millions who crossed the Atlantic in search of opportunity. Yet, while some families found hope and renewal, others faced profound hardship, grappling with the harsh realities of poverty and loss. In 1948, during the lingering aftermath of the Great Depression, a photograph shocked America. Ray and Lucille Scherfu, a destitute couple, placed their 4 children for sale. In 1892, an Italian monk is photographed wearing a funeral mask, a traditional object used in ceremonies to honor the deceased. Funeral masks symbolize the transition from life to death, serving as a connection to the afterlife and preserving the memory of the departed. On August 13, 1925, New Yorkers gathered in awe as the news of D-Day flashed on the electronic ticker of the New York Times building. In a moment emblematic of global trade and cultural exchange, Norway received its first delivery of bananas, marking the introduction of this exotic fruit to the country. In 1951, during the brutal Korean War, a poignant scene unfolded as Chinese soldiers, caught in a desperate situation, begged for their lives from a South Korean soldier. At just 19 years old in 1953, Brigitte Bardot was photographed soaking up the sun on a French beach in Cannes. Known for its glamour and the prestigious Cannes Film Festival, the city would soon become synonymous with international stars. This photo, taken early in Bardot's career, captures the youthful elegance that would later define her as one of cinema and fashion's most iconic figures. In August 1969, the Woodstock Music and Art Festival, officially known as the Woodstock Festival, attracted an impressive crowd of around 400,000 people to the small town of Bethel, New York. In 1914, Chester McFly in New York made history by building the first underwater armor equipped with ball bearings, a groundbreaking innovation that enhanced mobility and safety when diving to extreme depths. Using this revolutionary suit, McPhee set a new American record for deep-sea diving by reaching an astonishing depth of 212 feet. As science advanced, daily life still reflected deep societal divisions, as seen in the contrasts of life and death. In 1888 in the Netherlands, a cemetery became the stage for a physical and symbolic separation between a couple of different religions. The tomb of a Catholic woman and that of her Protestant husband were separated by a wall, representing the religious barriers that still marked society at the time. While social divisions were evident, science, in a revolutionary way, sought to connect the impossible, as seen with Tesla and his experiments. In 1899, Nikola Tesla, in his laboratory in Colorado Springs, was immersed in one of the most visionary experiments of his career: wireless electricity transmission. Next to his magnifying transmitter, an advanced version of his famous Tesla coil, he was testing the possibility of transmitting electrical energy through the atmosphere without the need for wires. In a time of great innovation and natural disasters, communities also faced devastating challenges, such as those witnessed during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. In 1935, during the critical period of the Dust Bowl in Texas, an imposing dust storm was captured in a photo, about to engulf everything in its path. This storm was part of one of the most desolate periods in U.S. history, when improper farming practices and severe droughts turned vast areas into deserts. In the final stages of World War II, Allied soldiers took a unique and defiant approach to bolster morale and undermine the Nazi regime. A famous image from this period captures soldiers marking bombs with messages directed at Adolf Hitler. These Easter eggs, bombs decorated with insulting words, were a form of psychological warfare designed to demoralize the enemy while boosting the confidence of the Allies. From the intense emotional impact of war to the lighthearted social scene of the 1960s, we see how cultural expressions evolve over time. By the early 1960s, the limbo dance had become an iconic feature of nightlife in Los Angeles, especially within the city's vibrant club scene. Although its origins trace back to Trinidad and Tobago, the limbo quickly became a global phenomenon after it gained popularity in the United States in the 1950s. While the 1960s brought joy and expression to many, the past also holds moments of heartache, such as the poignant story of a group of children and their loyal companion. In 1936, a group of children in England found themselves in a tragic situation when they took in a dog whose owner had passed away. The children, despite their own grief, shared the responsibility of caring for the dog, feeding it, and providing companionship during a time of loss. The photograph from that year poignantly captures the dog's sorrow, as it seems to sense the absence of its beloved owner. During World War I, messenger dogs played an indispensable role, particularly in communication, where conventional methods often failed. In 1915, one such dog swam across a canal in France, demonstrating the vital contribution these animals made in delivering messages between soldiers. While messenger dogs provided crucial communication in wartime, another technological marvel of the early 20th century was capturing the imagination of the world: the grand voyage of the Titanic. The Titanic, immortalized in both history and film, was a marvel of engineering when it set sail from Southampton, England, on its ill-fated maiden voyage in April 1912. At the time, it was considered the largest and most luxurious ship ever built, embodying the zenith of early 20th century naval engineering. From the grandest of ships to the most humble acts of heroism, the human spirit continues to show its resilience in the face of both innovation and adversity. In 1928, a group of Soviet peasants were photographed as they listened to the radio for the first time, marking a significant moment in the rural life of the Soviet Union. The radio, a symbol of technological progress and modernity, began bridging the gap between isolated communities and the outside world. While technology connected remote communities, the harsh realities of war presented its own challenges, such as the difficult conditions soldiers faced in the Italian Alps. The image of Italian soldiers in the Alps, raising a weapon alongside a dog, captures the extreme challenges they faced during their military campaigns. The treacherous mountainous terrain of the Italian Alps demanded not only exceptional endurance from the soldiers, but also intricate logistical strategies. From the daunting landscapes of war to the laid-back beaches of California, we now shift to a more leisurely scene of the 1930s. In June 1934, a photograph of beach volleyball at Venice Beach, California, captured the burgeoning popularity of this new sport. The golden age of California beaches saw an explosion of recreational activities, with beach volleyball quickly becoming a favorite pastime. Moving from the vibrant life of the beaches to the busy streets of New York, we now see how urban transportation evolved during the early 20th century. Around 1917, the streets of Manhattan presented a fascinating contrast between old and new forms of transportation. In a striking photograph, a horse-drawn carriage and a modern streetcar sit side by side, illustrating a pivotal moment in urban transport history. As transportation evolved in cities, so too did the pursuit of innovative design in personal vehicles. One such creation, a one-wheeled motorcycle, challenged traditional boundaries of engineering. In 1933, Italian inventor Davide Cisi tested his innovative one-wheeled motorcycle in France, pushing the boundaries of conventional motorcycle design. Known as the monocycle, this motorized single-wheeled vehicle was designed to balance and move with only one tire, a daring challenge to traditional two-wheeled motorcycles. From the groundbreaking designs in transportation to the rapidly evolving ways people connected through technology, the 20th century was marked by innovations that changed the way people lived, worked, and played. During World War I in 1918, women were photographed delivering blocks of ice, a crucial role during a time when refrigeration was not yet widely available. With many men enlisted in the military and stationed on the front lines, women stepped into traditionally male-dominated roles, including physically demanding tasks such as ice delivery. As women took on new roles in wartime, other cultural shifts were unfolding across the globe, such as the thriving food culture in Japan during the 1930s. In 1935, a photograph captured a soba noodle delivery man in Tokyo balancing dozens of boxes of the beloved noodle on his bicycle, skillfully managing the precarious load with one hand. Soba, a traditional Japanese noodle made from buckwheat, has been a staple of Japanese cuisine for centuries, and this image highlights the bustling food culture of the time. Meanwhile, across the world, New York City was witnessing moments of urban eccentricity that would later become iconic. One such sight, a llama in Times Square, captured the city's unique energy in the 1950s. In 1957, the busy streets of Times Square in New York City were filled with a rather unusual sight, a llama strolling through the bustling intersection. This peculiar moment reflected the playful and unpredictable nature of New York's urban life. The city, already a global center of commerce and culture, was also known for its offbeat and sometimes bizarre happenings. From the bustling streets of New York to the quiet grandeur of California's national parks, the early 1900s also marked a reverence for the natural world, as evidenced by the iconic photograph of U.S. cavalrymen at Yosemite. In 1900, a group of U.S. cavalrymen posed in front of the majestic giant sequoia, also known as the giant grizzly, in California's Yosemite National Park. This towering tree, one of the largest and oldest in the park, continues to stand as a living testament to the greatness of nature. From the awe of nature to the stylish innovation of British design, the 1970s saw the rise of iconic cultural symbols, such as the Austin Mini car, which reflected a different kind of British ingenuity. In the 1970s, British model Jenny Clay was photographed posing next to an Austin Mini car in London, showcasing the stylish, compact vehicle that had become an icon of British design. The Austin Mini was not only a practical solution for navigating crowded city streets, but also a symbol of modernity and practicality in post-war Britain. In March 1958, at the height of his fame, Elvis Presley was drafted into the military, temporarily pausing his illustrious music career. Despite the option for exemption due to his celebrity status, Elvis chose to serve, a decision that endeared him even more to the public. He was assigned to the 3rd Armored Division at Fort Hood, Texas, for basic training before being deployed to West Germany. As public figures like Elvis made significant personal sacrifices, other critical roles were being played in different parts of the world, including efforts to protect the health and well-being of communities during crises. During times of pandemics and pestilence, particularly during the Black Death, rat catchers played an indispensable role in preventing the spread of deadly diseases to humans. Specialized in hunting and controlling rat populations, these individuals were critical in safeguarding food supplies and preventing economic disasters caused by infestations of rodents. By minimizing the number of rats, they helped mitigate the risk of diseases like the plague, which could decimate entire populations. As the world faced health challenges, political leaders were also under immense pressure, as seen in the tense moment when Joseph Stalin was informed of an impending German attack during World War II. An unauthorized photograph captures Joseph Stalin in August 1941, at the moment he was informed that German forces were on the verge of capturing Kyiv. This image speaks volumes about the tension and anxiety experienced by Soviet leaders as they faced the advancing Nazi forces. The fall of Kyiv marked a significant turning point in the Eastern Front of World War II, threatening not only the strategic position of the Soviet Union, but also its morale. As world leaders dealt with the harsh realities of war, news of a devastating tragedy would soon spread worldwide, shocking people from all walks of life. On April 16, 1912, the young newsboy Ned Parfit was seen selling a copy of an evening newspaper with the shocking headline that the Titanic had sunk the previous night. The Titanic, at the time the largest and most luxurious passenger ship ever built, had collided with an iceberg on the night of April 14, 15, causing it to sink in the North Atlantic and resulting in the loss of over 1,500 lives. The news spread like wildfire, causing widespread grief and disbelief. In the midst of such historical events, youth culture in the 1950s was also shaping its identity, notably through the emergence of new trends that marked the decade. The 1950s saw the rise of a distinct teenage culture, with adolescents asserting their identity and gaining greater social independence. This decade was defined by the emergence of new music, fashion, and attitudes that set teenagers apart from previous generations. On June 6, 1944, one of the most iconic images of the D-Day invasion was captured by photographer Robert F. Sargent, showing American soldiers storming Omaha Beach under heavy enemy fire. This moment marked the beginning of the liberation of Nazi-occupied Europe and was a crucial turning point in World War II. The image encapsulates the intensity and heroism of the Allied forces as they fought to reclaim the continent from the clutches of fascism. While the soldiers in Normandy were battling for freedom, another struggle was taking place in the United States, where children were fighting for their rights in factories and mines. In 1902, child laborers gathered in the streets of Philadelphia to form a determined crowd, demanding better working conditions. Led by labor activist Mother Jones, this strike brought attention to the brutal conditions faced by young workers in the city's factories and mines. Some of these children were as young as 6 years old, yet they stood together to demand an end to their exploitation. As the fight for social justice was being waged on the streets of Philadelphia, aviation pioneers were taking unimaginable risks to push the boundaries of flight. In 1962, test pilot George Arid came dangerously close to losing his life during an aircraft test flight. While testing a new plane, Arid was ejected sideways from the aircraft mid-flight, resulting in a dramatic and dangerous fall. He landed in a nursery near the crash site, suffering broken legs but surviving the incident. His story serves as a stark reminder of the risks test pilots faced during a time of rapid advancements in aviation technology. While aviation was advancing, political upheavals were unfolding on the ground, one of which was captured under extreme risk during the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. In 1968, amidst the chaos of the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia, a photographer captured a haunting image of Soviet tanks rolling into Prague. Taken under immense personal danger, the photo was smuggled out of the country and presented the world with a rare and direct look at the brutality of the invasion. This moment was part of a broader attempt by the Soviet Union to suppress the Prague Spring, a period of political liberalization within Czechoslovakia. From the tanks in Prague to the skies, another disaster would soon capture the world's attention, signaling the end of an era in aviation. On May 6, 1937, the German airship Hindenburg caught fire while attempting to land at Naval Station Lakehurst in New Jersey, tragically killing 36 people. The disaster marked the end of the golden age of dirigibles, a time when these massive airships were seen as the future of transatlantic travel. The fiery image of the Hindenburg in flames became an indelible symbol of the inherent risks and fragility of this mode of transportation. On June 3, 1945, a German civilian was photographed gazing at a large poster of Joseph Stalin in the heart of Berlin, shortly after the end of the Second World War in Europe. This powerful image symbolized the new political and military reality that the city and the country faced after the defeat of Nazi Germany. With Berlin divided among the Allies, the presence of Stalin's poster reflected the significant influence of the Soviet Union in the region. While Europe was grappling with new political realities, the world was seeing remarkable advancements in technology and travel, especially in the realm of aviation. In 1986, a fleet of Concorde jets lined up at Heathrow Airport in London, marking a peak in high-speed commercial aviation. These iconic planes, operated mainly by British Airways and Air France, were symbols of technological innovation and luxury in the skies. The Concorde could cross the Atlantic in about 3 hours, a feat that redefined the possibilities of air travel. While the Concorde soared through the skies, the world was also deeply connected to the earth beneath, where natural wonders were being shaped for tourism. In 1879, a horse-drawn carriage passed through a section of a giant sequoia tree in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, USA. This image captures a common practice of the time, carving tunnels through the colossal trees to demonstrate their immense size and attract tourists. The sequoias, some of the tallest and oldest trees in the world, were natural symbols of California's grandeur. By tunneling through them, people sought to showcase the awe-inspiring scale of nature and draw visitors to witness these living giants. As humans marveled at the natural world, others were struggling to survive in the aftermath of one of history's darkest periods. In the 1950s, a powerful photograph was taken of Jewish prisoners being liberated from a Nazi death train at the end of World War II in 1945. The image captured the profound moment of relief and freedom for survivors of the Holocaust who had endured unimaginable suffering. The death trains used by the Nazis to transport Jews and other prisoners to concentration and extermination camps symbolized the brutality and genocide of the Nazi era. While the survivors of the Holocaust began their painful recovery, the world was also witnessing new military strategies emerge during wartime. In June 1943, a U.S. Navy airship patrolled the Atlantic in search of any signs of enemy submarines during World War II. At that time, dirigibles were commonly used as part of patrol and surveillance strategies, crucial for protecting Allied shipping routes from German submarine attacks. With their extended flight duration and superior visibility, airships played a pivotal role in detecting and neutralizing submarine threats. In 1890, a photograph captured an elderly woman in Ireland spinning fiber with a spinning wheel, a tool that played a crucial role in the textile industry before the Industrial Revolution. The spinning wheel was essential for creating threads from fibers, which were later woven into fabrics. In this rural Irish setting, such traditional practices were still common, showcasing a way of life that had remained largely unchanged for centuries. While traditional crafts were still flourishing in rural settings, the world was experiencing profound emotional moments during times of war. Amid the rapid expansion of urban landscapes, building inspectors were entrusted with the vital task of ensuring the structural integrity of towering skyscrapers and modern marvels. Suspended above the city's fog, they meticulously assessed these architectural giants using platforms or safety harnesses. Their work was essential in safeguarding the rapidly transforming cities of the early 20th century. Or so we thought. Turns out the viral image of these brave inspectors wasn't real at all. It was crafted by AI, leaving us wondering if the true marvel is human ingenuity, or just really convincing pixels.